If, thanks to the federal government shutdown, food stamps, SNAP benefits go away, how will that affect Arizona's economy? Obviously, it would affect Arizona's working poor. But what about the merchants who accept food stamps and the people who work for them?
Joining us is Danny Court, senior economist at Elliott D, Pollack and Associates in Scottsdale. And Danny, in fiscal year 2024, more than 920,000 Arizonans, that's about a little more than 12% of our population, got SNAP benefits. That's an awful lot of spending power, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. 1 in 8 Arizonans receiving these benefits. I think the state received about just over $2 billion in SNAP benefits last year. So that's about $170 million a month in spending.
And that's spent at, mom and pops and, the Walmarts of Arizona and whatnot. So this has a ripple effect. It would if these end up going away. And I guess the estimation is, November 1st, right?
Right. Yeah. From what I'd read, it looked like it wouldn't. The issue was they might not be able to fully fund it. So hopefully there's maybe a partial payment. And again, hopefully, just the ineptitude of the federal government goes back into remission and we can, solve this shutdown issue. But yeah, we've got about 4,600, authorized retailers that can accept these payments. And it's, thinking of these families, they're talking about trying to come up with, over $500, next month if this doesn't come through.
Well, I like that term, by the way. If the ineptitude of the federal government would go back into remission.
I don't love our chances. I'm not sure how you feel about that. Now, I mean, you don't have to be in favor of a lot of people receiving government assistance to still be able to take a look at this economically and see how the loss of those benefits could have an impact. Because I know a lot of people are shocked that Halloween candy and fast food, like, hamburgers are SNAP eligible foods, but they are.
Sure. Yeah. And I don't have an opinion on, the efficacy of the program, but we are talking about, the most vulnerable populations among our people in our state. And it really the outsized effect is in our rural areas too. So when we say 12% of Arizonans, 25% of residents in Santa Cruz County, 1 in 4 receive these SNAP benefits. You go up to Apache County, it's nearly 1 in 3. They're approaching 30% of their population that receives these. So we're really talking about, our rural Arizona residents and the most vulnerable among us, and again, what do they do when they really rely on these funds for this food security?
Do you see this as possibly having? We're by the way talking with Danny Court. He's a senior economist with Elliott D. Pollack and Associates in Scottsdale. About the ripple effects of losing SNAP benefits if that happens November 1st, or at least partial loss of those. Could this actually put some people in danger of being eligible for SNAP benefits? When I'm talking about that ripple effect, a merchant isn't receiving that money, especially in some of the rural areas that you were talking about, Danny, and then they might have to let somebody go from their mom and pop shop. Am I taking it too far with this thinking?
Hopefully you are. I don't know what a percentage of total spending that this equates to. It's still, it's a big chunk of money. And again, how long will this actually last? When it is restored, typically these funds are reimbursed as well. So, I think once it ends, you'll see these funds flow back in, a back payment will be made, and hopefully there's kind of a snapback or, a catch up in terms of spending, when this comes back. And, who knows when this government shutdown ends. These are wildly unpopular, so hopefully it's soon. And then we'll get this kind of catch-up spending when it comes back.
Well, there's catch-up spending, but there's also kids who suddenly don't have breakfast. And, I mean, you can't take that off the table when you're looking at the overall picture. You still have people who are being hurt.
Yeah. In the meantime, looking at solutions, I mean, there's no way that the local food banks can catch up the difference. I think SNAP benefits are like an order of magnitude, like 9 times as large as the entire food food bank network across the state or the nation. So there's just no way you can backfill that easily, or looking at other state or local resources for it. So yeah, it's crunch time right now.
All right. Thanks a lot, Danny. Danny Court, once again, senior economist at Elliott D. Pollack and Associates, joining us here on Arizona's Morning News.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.